For 6 long years, Buckingham Palace sat in eerie silence, not a word, not even a whisper, while the world gossiped about one of the biggest royal mysteries ever, the birth of little Archie. Every time someone dared to ask, the palace smiled politely and said nothing. No comment. It was their favorite phrase. The world, tired of waiting, moved on, until now, because something has finally cracked behind those palace walls. For years, everyone believed the same polished story. Archie and Lilibet, the adorable children of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the perfect royal fairy tale, right? But now? Oh honey, that fairy tale might be about to crumble, because a woman known only by 2 letters, DL, has stepped out of the shadows. And she didn't come empty-handed. She didn't want attention. She didn't want fame. She came with receipts, literal proof, signed non-disclosure agreements dated before the births, hospital admission records from a clinic in Colorado, bank transfers linking her directly to Meghan and Harry's private team. At first, everyone laughed it off. Another crazy claim, they said. But then her legal team confirmed everything. Documents, verified, timestamps, witnessed, and here's the kicker. Authenticated by lawyers who usually never touch royal business unless it's real. Suddenly, the gossip wasn't gossip anymore. It was history trembling. If DL's story is true, this isn't just another scandal. It's not about headlines or tabloids. This is about royal blood, the very DNA of the British crown. To really understand the earthquake this could cause, you have to go back more than a century. The year was 1917, Europe was burning, kings were losing their crowns, and the British monarchy was terrified it might be next. So King George V sat down, pen in hand, and wrote one of the most important royal laws ever made, the Letters Patent. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't romantic, but it was everything. That document decided who could and who could never be royal. It said only certain children could carry the titles prince or princess. They had to be born of legitimate royal blood, officially recognized by the crown and baptized into the Church of England. 3 rules: cold, strict, and unbreakable. For 100 years it worked. The royal bloodline stayed neat and tidy, like the polished silverware at Windsor. But then, Meghan and Harry came along, and with them, 2 beautiful children who didn't quite fit the royal mold. When the palace looked closer at Archie and Lilibet's paperwork, something didn't line up. The births weren't done the royal way, the baptisms weren't under royal law, and the documents, oh, those sacred documents, told a very messy story. When Archie was born in 2019, everything looked picture perfect. A glowing couple, a healthy baby, cameras flashing, the monarchy smiling. But behind those smiles, questions, serious ones. Was Archie's birth properly recorded by the crown? Was his mother's name written correctly according to royal protocol? Did the old 1917 rules even apply? Or had someone bent them? Because in the monarchy, paperwork is everything. And when the paperwork doesn't add up, someone or something gets erased. Quietly. The palace noticed the inconsistencies. They watched, they waited, and then the whispers started. Archie and Lilibet weren't just children anymore. They were symbols, living proof of a collision between modern love and ancient rule. And when the monarchy feels that kind of threat, it doesn't react with emotion. It reacts with calculation. You see, the royal machine doesn't forgive mistakes. When something doesn't fit, they don't fix it. They correct it, even if it means rewriting history. And that's where DL's story begins. She says it all started in late 2018, months before Archie's birth. She was approached through intermediaries, quiet, professional, and terrifyingly precise. The request? Help a royal couple have a child. In return, she'd get 3 promises: anonymity, compensation, and erasure. No one would ever know her name. No cameras, no interviews, no trace. She thought she was doing something good, something private. So she signed, carefully, professionally, believing she was helping a couple fulfill their dream of becoming parents. But after the baby arrived, the silence changed. It wasn't respectful anymore. It was cold. Payments stopped, emails vanished, her legal contact disappeared. It was as if she had never existed. One of her lawyers later said something chilling. She kept her end of the deal. They erased her from history. For months, DL stayed quiet. She waited. She believed it was a mistake. But when her legal team tracked the payments and saw how they stopped right after Archie's birth, she realized this wasn't a delay. It was a deletion. That's when she decided to speak. Not to the tabloids, not to the gossip mags, but to lawyers. But because she knew something the rest of the world didn't. The palace only respects one thing: evidence. For years, the world saw Prince Harry as the noble rebel, the golden-hearted prince who escaped the palace to protect his wife and children from a cruel system. But if what DL's team says is true, then oh my god, that image might be one of the biggest royal illusions ever. Because according to insiders, Harry didn't just know about the arrangement. He allegedly helped create it. Yes, the same man who spent his life fighting lies about his mother may have built one of his own. Sources close to the situation say the deal was connected to a private fertility clinic in California. No royal oversight, no official record, completely off the books. There were no palace doctors, no royal witnesses, no paperwork filed through the usual royal channels. Everything was done privately, quietly, secretly. And the name at the top of those private authorizations? Harry's. He reportedly reviewed payment plans, saw the correspondence with intermediaries, even helped decide how DL's identity would be hidden forever. If that's true, it means this wasn't a royal blunder. It was a royal blueprint. Can you imagine the irony? The prince who swore he'd never repeat his mother's suffering might have engineered the very deception that could destroy the family name. It's tragic, it's human, it's haunting, and maybe it explains everything. Those close to Harry say he's a shadow of himself these days. Behind closed doors, the charming, laughing prince has become restless. Pacing through the halls at night, arguing with himself, sleeping alone. He's angry, but not just at the palace, at Meghan. He blames her for letting everything spiral, for losing control of the narrative they once owned so perfectly. What was once a love story built on unity now feels like a cold war of silence. Meghan, meanwhile, has gone utterly quiet. No podcasts, no public statements, no Instagram posts, nothing. For someone who once built her life around storytelling, this silence feels less like strategy and more like surrender. Those who've spoken to palace aides say the air in Buckingham Palace has changed. It's not panic anymore, it's resignation. Inside both households, Montecito and Buckingham, everyone feels it. The moment this story breaks, it won't just bruise reputations, it could rewrite royal history. DL's legal team, meanwhile, isn't bluffing. They've built what they call the evidence package. Every file, every contract, every hospital photo, every email, all time-stamped, cataloged, and verified. There are NDAs signed before Archie's birth, payment receipts linking funds from Sussex accounts, emails between intermediaries and Harry's private staff, full names, dollar amounts, dates, everything. If DL steps forward publicly, and all signs say she's preparing to, this stops being about two innocent children. It becomes a story about a kingdom built on legacy and the secret that could shatter it. The British monarchy has survived wars, betrayals, divorces, even Netflix documentaries. But this would strike at its most sacred foundation, bloodline. And in royal tradition, bloodline is everything. The palace knows it, the lawyers know it, and deep down, Harry and Meghan know it too. Because if DL's truth sees daylight, the crown faces something it has never faced before, a scandal it can't silence. The sun may have set on the British Empire long ago, but inside those ancient palace walls, another empire still flickers. An empire built on silence, image, and control. And somewhere, between truth and denial, history is waiting for the sound of the first domino falling.